Chelsea are coming for a goalkeeper and a right back this summer, and this is everything you need to know. A deep look at two of Chelsea's biggest reported transfer targets for the summer window. Let us be honest, being a Chelsea fan right now feels like being on a roller coaster that never stops. One day you are excited, the next day you are confused, and every summer window brings a new wave of names, numbers, and rumors that make your head spin. But this time around, two names are standing out louder than the rest: Gregor KOBEL and JULES KOUNDE, a goalkeeper from Borussia Dortmund and a right back from FC Barcelona. Two very different players, two very big fees, and two positions that Chelsea genuinely need to sort out if they want to be a serious team again. So today we are going to break it all down in a way that is easy to follow. Who are these players? Why does Chelsea want them? What is the latest news? And what does it all mean for the club going into next season? Grab a cup of tea and let us get into it. First things first. Why does Chelsea even need these players? Before we talk about who Chelsea are going to sign, we need to talk about why Chelsea want to sign anyone at all in these positions. It is a fair question. The club has spent hundreds of millions of pounds over the past few years, so why are there still gaps? Let us start with the goalkeeper situation. Chelsea have had problems between the posts for a while now. The club has been through several goalkeepers in recent seasons, and the consistency that you need from that position has not always been there. A top goalkeeper does not just save shots. He commands the penalty area, organizes the defenders in front of him, helps the team play out from the back, and gives everyone confidence. When you watch teams like Manchester City or Bayern Munich, you can see how important a truly world-class goalkeeper is. Chelsea need that kind of presence. Now think about the right back position. In modern football, the right back is no longer just someone who defends the right side and crosses a few balls. The best right backs today are almost like extra midfielders. They push forward, they create chances, they combine with the wingers, and they still track back and defend. Chelsea have not always had that kind of reliability and quality on the right side. Having a right back who can do all of that consistently would change how the whole team functions. So yes, there are clear reasons why Chelsea are going after a goalkeeper and a right back this summer. Now let us talk about the specific players. Gregor KOBEL, who is he and why does Chelsea want him? If you do not know much about Gregor KOBEL, that is okay. He is not the kind of player who gets talked about every day in the English media. But trust us, the people who watch the Bundesliga closely know exactly how good this man is. Gregor KOBEL is 28 years old and he plays for Borussia Dortmund in Germany. He is Swiss, and he has been one of the best goalkeepers in the Bundesliga for the past few seasons. He is tall, he is athletic, and he is very good with his feet, which is something that modern managers care a lot about. When your team wants to build from the back and play out under pressure, you need a goalkeeper who is confident on the ball and can help the team keep possession. KOBEL fits that profile very well. He also has experience at a very high level. Dortmund regularly compete in the Champions League, and KOBEL has been a key part of that. He knows what it feels like to play in big European nights, and that kind of experience matters. You do not want to sign a goalkeeper who is going to freeze up when Chelsea play in important matches. According to Foot Mercado, Chelsea are monitoring his situation this summer and he is considered a transfer target. The reported price is around 60 million euros. Now, 60 million euros for a goalkeeper is not a small amount of money. But in today's market, for a player of his quality and age, that is actually a reasonable fee. He is 28, which means he has several years at the top level still in front of him. You are buying a reliable first-choice goalkeeper who should serve the club well for a long time. Here's a question worth thinking about. When was the last time Chelsea had a goalkeeper who everyone agreed was clearly the number one, no debate, no rotation, no question, a player who made the position his own and just got on with the job week after week? That stability is what KOBEL could bring to Stamford Bridge. Of course, there are things we do not know yet. Does KOBEL want to come to Chelsea? How does he feel about leaving Dortmund? Is Chelsea his first choice, or are there other clubs involved? These are all things that will become clearer as the summer goes on. But the fact that Chelsea are monitoring him means they are serious about strengthening this area of the squad. Jules Kounde, the man Chelsea really want at right back. Now this one is much bigger in terms of profile and also in terms of the fee involved. Jules Kounde is 27 years old, he plays for FC Barcelona, and he is one of the best defenders in world football right now. He can play center back, but at Barcelona he has mostly been used at right back, and he has been absolutely brilliant in that role. Kounde is French, and he has been a regular in the France national team. He has pace, he is strong in the tackle, he reads the game very well, and he is very comfortable on the ball. At Barcelona, he has been part of a team that plays a very specific style of football, lots of possession, lots of pressing, lots of clever movement. Learning to play in that system means he has developed skills that would fit well at a club like Chelsea, who want to play attractive, progressive football. The reported fee from Mundo Deportivo is around 80 million euros. Chelsea are apparently ready to make that offer. That would make him a very significant signing. But before we get too excited, there are some important complications here. Number one, Kounde is under contract at Barcelona until 2030. That is a long contract, and it means Barcelona do not have to sell if they do not want to. They are not in a desperate situation where they need to offload him quickly just to get money in. Number two, Barcelona would prefer to keep him. Reports say the club ideally wants to hold on to Kounde. He is a key player for them, and they are not looking to create a gap in their squad. Number 3, KOUNDE himself does not have a strong desire to leave. This is important. A player who is happy at his club and not pushing for a move is much harder to sign than someone who wants out. Chelsea cannot just wave money at Barcelona and expect everything to fall into place. However, there is a reason why this deal might still happen. Barcelona are dealing with serious financial problems. The club has been in a difficult position financially for a few years now. They need money to fund other signings, particularly players like Julian Alvarez and Alessandro Bastoni, who are targets for them. If the right offer comes in and it helps them pursue those other deals, Barcelona could decide that selling KOUNDE makes financial sense even if it is not their first choice. Barcelona's asking price, according to reports, is around 65 to 70 million pounds. But Chelsea and other clubs would try to get the deal done for less than that. The player's salary is reportedly very high, around 18 million euros per year. That is a significant wage commitment on top of the transfer fee. So here's the big question for Chelsea fans. Is KOUNDE worth all of this? Is he worth the high fee, the high wages, and the complicated negotiations? Think about what a player of his quality would do for the team. A world-class right-back who can defend, attack, and do everything in between. At 27, he is in the prime of his career. If Chelsea could get him, it would be a massive statement signing. What does this mean for Chelsea's plans this summer? Let us step back and look at the bigger picture here. If Chelsea sign both KOBEL and KOUNDE, we are talking about roughly 140 million euros or more in transfer fees alone. That is not counting wages, agent fees, or any other costs. That is a massive investment. But Chelsea have shown in recent years that they are willing to spend big. The club has invested enormous amounts of money under its current ownership. The question has always been whether those investments are being made in the right places. A top goalkeeper and a top right back are both very sensible targets. These are not panic buys or random additions. These are specific positions where the team has a clear need. If the club can sort out both of these areas in one window, it would be a very focused and intelligent piece of business. Think about what a settled goalkeeper does for the whole defense. When the players in front of the goal trust the man behind them, they defend with more confidence. When the goalkeeper is commanding and organizing, the defenders know where to be. That whole unit becomes more solid. A good goalkeeper can make an average defense look very good, and a quality right back like KOUNDE changes how Chelsea attack as well. He can give the right winger more freedom to come inside and create because the right back is providing the width and the crosses. He can combine in tight spaces in midfield areas. He can win the ball back high up the pitch when Chelsea press. He is not just a defensive addition. He is someone who makes the whole team function better. Of course, we also have to be realistic. Transfer rumors are just rumors until the paperwork is signed. A lot of things have to go right for both of these deals to happen. Negotiations can break down over fee, wages, personal terms, or just because a player changes his mind. We have seen it happen many times before. Chelsea fans know better than most how a transfer can look certain one week and then collapse the next. The competition factor. Are other clubs after the same players? This is something Chelsea fans need to keep in mind. Chelsea are not the only club in the world with money and ambition. Several of Europe's biggest clubs are always looking to improve their squads in the same windows. When it comes to KOBEL, he is a goalkeeper who has proven himself in the Champions League at a top European club. A player like that will naturally attract interest from many clubs. Chelsea being linked is not a surprise, but they will likely face competition if they make a formal move. With KOUNDE, the situation is similar. The reports about Chelsea showing the strongest interest are encouraging, but also note that other clubs could get involved. Once word gets out that a player of his quality might be available, the queue will form quickly. Chelsea need to move decisively if they really want him. Speed matters in the transfer market. The club that gets the deal done first, that sits down with the player and the selling club and agrees terms quickly, is usually the one that comes out on top. If Chelsea hesitate or get into long drawn-out negotiations while another club moves faster, they could lose both players. History has shown that top players do not stay available forever. What Chelsea fans are saying and what they should be thinking. If you spend any time on Chelsea fan forums or social media, you will see a real mix of reactions to these transfer links. Some fans are very excited and want to see both players signed as quickly as possible. Others are more cautious, pointing out that Chelsea have been linked with many players before and not all of them arrived. Both reactions are understandable. The excitement makes sense because both KOBEL and KOUNDE are genuinely excellent players. If you are a Chelsea fan and you see those two names linked with your club, you should be excited. These are the kind of signings that can change a team. But the caution also makes sense. Chelsea fans have been burned before, big signings that did not work out, players who arrived with huge expectations and never reached them, massive fees spent on players who ended up being sold for much less a few years later. After all of that, it is natural to wait and see rather than celebrate before anything is confirmed. But here's the thing that is worth remembering. Both KOBEL and KOUNDE are not young unknowns being bought on potential. They are proven players in their late 20s who have performed at the highest level consistently. KOBEL has been excellent for Dortmund for several seasons. KOUNDE has been one of the best right-backs in La Liga at Barcelona. These are not gambles. They are established quality. Do you think Chelsea should sign both players this summer, or would you rather see the money spent elsewhere? That is a genuine debate worth having. Some fans might prefer to see investment in attacking areas, in a striker who can score 20 goals a season, or in a creative midfielder who can unlock defenses. Football is always about choices and priorities. The KOUNDE salary question. Can Chelsea afford the weekly wage? This is something that does not get talked about enough in transfer conversations. Everyone focuses on the transfer fee, but the weekly wage is just as important, sometimes more important. Kounde is reportedly on around 18 million euros per year at Barcelona. That works out to roughly 1.5 million euros per month. That is an enormous amount of money for any player. Now, Chelsea are one of the bigger paying clubs in England, and the Premier League wages are generally very high. But taking on a player at that salary level means a long-term commitment. If Chelsea match or come close to that salary, they are committing to significant wage bill increases, and that is before you add the wages for any other signings they make this summer. The financial management of the club matters, not just for the transfer window, but for the seasons to come. This is actually one reason why Barcelona might be willing to sell, despite wanting to keep the player. Getting a massive transfer fee and removing that wage off their books would significantly improve their financial situation. Sometimes a sale that looks like it goes against your sporting interests makes perfect sense from a financial point of view. Chelsea would need to be comfortable taking on that financial commitment. Given everything the club has done in recent transfer windows, it seems likely that they are willing to do it for the right player. And Kounde at 27 in the prime of his career might just be exactly the right player. How these two signings would change the team. Let us paint a picture. Imagine Chelsea going into next season with KOBEL in goal and Kounde at right back. What does that look like in practical terms on a match day? You have a goalkeeper who is calm and confident, who can sweep up behind a high defensive line, who distributes the ball well and helps start attacks from the back. The defenders in front of him know he is reliable. They can push higher, press more aggressively, knowing the man behind them is organized and can deal with anything that gets through. On the right side, you have Kounde pushing forward, combining with the right winger, delivering crosses, winning the ball back when Chelsea press, and getting back to defend when needed. He is athletic enough to do both phases of the game well. The right side of Chelsea's attack suddenly becomes a much more dangerous and consistent area. These are not fancy creative signings like a tricky winger or a goal-scoring number 10 who gets all the highlights. KOBEL and Kounde are the kind of signings that make the whole team better. They are the foundation. They are the players who make other players around them look and perform better. That kind of impact is sometimes harder to see in the match highlights, but it is absolutely real. Ask yourself this: how many times last season did Chelsea concede goals that a better goalkeeper might have saved? How many times was the right side of defense exposed or not threatening enough in attack? If you can answer yes to both of those questions, then you already understand exactly why these two transfers make sense. What happens if Chelsea miss out on these players? This is the uncomfortable question that every Chelsea fan is probably avoiding but needs to think about. What if the Kounde deal falls through because Barcelona decide not to sell? What if KOBEL chooses another club or Dortmund ask for too much money? In football, transfers fall through all the time. We have already touched on this, but it is worth thinking about more seriously. Chelsea have other options in these positions. There are other good goalkeepers and other good right-backs around Europe. But the reality is that very few of them are at the level of KOBEL or Kounde. Missing out on Kounde especially would be a blow. If Chelsea are identified as showing the strongest interest and then fail to get the deal done, it creates disappointment among the fans and potentially gives a rival club a huge advantage. Imagine Kounde going to a Premier League rival instead. That would hurt. The club would need to have backup plans ready. That is part of good transfer recruitment. You identify your first choice targets, but you also know who you would go for if plan A does not work out. Chelsea have a big scouting network and they will have identified alternatives. But of course, plan A is always plan A for a reason. Final thoughts. This summer could define what Chelsea become. Every summer window matters, but some matter more than others. This one feels like it could be a turning point for Chelsea. The club has been spending big for a few years now, and the results have been mixed. But there is a feeling that the squad is getting closer to being what the manager and the ownership want it to be. Adding a goalkeeper of KOBEL's quality and a right-back of Kounde's quality in the same window would be a statement. It would say that Chelsea are not just spending for the sake of spending. They have identified clear weaknesses, and they are going after the very best players available to fix them. Gregor KOBEL at 60 million euros gives Chelsea a goalkeeper with Champions League experience, great footwork, and years ahead of him at the top level. JULES Kounde at 80 million euros gives Chelsea one of the most complete right-backs in world football. Together, those two signings would transform the defensive side of the team completely. Yes, it is a lot of money. Yes, there are complications, especially with Kounde, given his salary, his contract length, and the fact that Barcelona would rather keep him. But big clubs find a way to get big deals done when they really want to. If Chelsea are serious and willing to commit, both deals are achievable. So let us end with the question that every single Chelsea fan is already thinking about. If the club manages to sign both KOBEL and Kounde before the summer window closes, how much better does that make Chelsea for next season? The answer, if you have read everything in this article, should be clear. It makes them significantly better, and significantly better is exactly what Chelsea need to be. Keep watching this space. The summer window is just getting started, and Chelsea are already making moves that could shape the next few years of the club's history. This is an exciting time to be a Chelsea supporter. Let us enjoy the ride. What do you think about these two transfer targets? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Would you be happy with both KOBEL and KOUNDE at Stamford Bridge, or is there someone else you would rather Chelsea go after this summer?